The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, UNU Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Tax the rich, feed the poor. Tell there are no rich no more. I love to change the world, but I don't know what to do. So I population keeps on breeding, nation bleeding, still more bleeding economy. Life is funny, skies are sunny, bees make honey, who needs money but monopoly?
Now with the new Miss USA.
Welcome to Pot Talk, everybody. This is Jim. We're missing Paul. He's out working. I guess I'm going to have to smoke alone. So let's get the first order of business. All right. I'm going to start out on a positive note. Miss Washington, D.C., or District of Columbia, she won the Miss USA. So we're going to start out with a positive. And we'll talk about it afterwards.
Now with the new Miss USA, nuclear scientist Kyra McCullough. Well, she is here and she's speaking out for the first time about the backlash she's facing for remarks she made on stage. And we're going to speak to her in a moment. But first, ABC's Adrian Bankert has the story.
Miss USA 2017 is
Meet the new Miss USA.
District of Columbia!
The crowning moment eclipsed by Kyra McCullough's take on this hot-button issue.
Do you think affordable health care for all U.S. citizens is a right or a privilege, and why?
I'm definitely going to say it's a privilege. As a government employee, I am granted health care. And I see firsthand that for one, to have health care, you need to have jobs. I'm a scientist at
The nuclear chemist blasted for not making a case for universal health care, stoking a liberal versus conservative debate over many sensitive issues. One person tweeting, "I was on board with DC until she gave that sad, uneducated answer on health care." Others defending her, posting, "That was an intelligent, take responsibility for your own life answer. Good for her." The 25-year-old taking even more heat after this Q&A on feminism.
I've liked to lately transpose the word feminism to equalism. I don't really want to consider myself... Try not to consider myself like this, like die-hard, like, oh, I don't really care about men. But one thing I'm going to say is, though, women, we are just as equal as men when it comes to opportunity in the workplace.
One blogger responding, "What's wrong with being a feminist, Miss DC USA? Who says feminists hate men?" Some taking her side, even a 2016 Miss America contestant weighing in, tweeting, "Leave it to Twitter to absolutely bail on hashtag Miss DC because she expressed a non-socialist position." For Good Morning America, Adrienne Bankert, ABC News, New York.
And the newly crowned Miss USA is joining us right now, Kyra McCullough. Congratulations. Congratulations to you. I see you wearing your sash. And how does it feel to be Miss USA 2017?
It's still surreal. I'm extremely thankful for this entire experience. So it probably is going to sink in maybe like immediately after this interview that we're having.
But you said you've been in a cube for 4 years, and now you're out of that cube in the spotlight.
I am. So it's definitely like a huge change. I'm adjusting very quickly, I can say, but I feel comfortable being here, so thank you for inviting me.
Well, winning the title obviously puts you in the spotlight, but another thing that put a little heat on you is that online, been a lot of comments made that when you made your comments about healthcare, you called it a privilege, not a right. Were you surprised by the reaction online?
Not at all. I believe that's what America is based on, like having opinions and views. But I would like to just take this moment to truly just clarify, because I am a woman, I'm going to own what I said. I am privileged to have health care, and I do believe that it should be a right. And I hope and pray moving forward that health care is a right for all worldwide. Because
healthcare is a complicated topic, and you get 30 seconds, you're put on the spot to give an answer to that. And would you change anything that you said?
I would love to clarify, really hone in on a couple of those, suffix and everything. Let them know, hey, I am privileged to have health care. And I just want people to see where I was coming from. Having a job, I have to look at health care like it is a privilege.
And another comment that created a little firestorm as well was you used the term equalism instead of feminism. And what do you mean by that?
So for me, like I said, where I work at with the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, equalism is more of a term of understanding that no matter your gender, you are still just kind of given the same accolades on your work. So I believe the person does a good job, they should be credited for that in a sense. But I don't want anyone to look at it as if I'm not all about women's rights, because I am. We deserve a lot when it comes to opportunity in the workplace, as well as just like leadership positions. And I've seen and witnessed firsthand the impact that women have. I mean, look at this show this morning. So I'm just blessed to be in the presence of you all. And
as you said, you work at the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. How does this all compare to your day job?
I mean, it's two totally different worlds, right? I would just say where I was previously working in the Nuclear Regulatory Commission is just regulatory compliance. So I don't say if nuclear power is safe, but I'm the one to make sure that it is safe.
And you're starting your year-long reign as Miss USA, and you see your words carry a lot of weight, a lot of meaning. So what are you going to plan? What are you planning to use for your platform? What is your platform going to be?
STEM enrichment for children, and I'm hoping to stem off from that as well, because I struggled with math as a child, and I just found so much joy in science, and I wanted to be able to understand it, and that's why I started my program, Science Exploration for Kids. I just want children to find joy in science at a young age and not look at it like it's difficult. So moving forward, I'm hoping to continue to visit schools, do science projects, maybe do symposiums with high school students, encourage them to look at career fields in the science, technology, engineering, and math.
So open up the gate.
Open up
this
the
is
gates.
another avenue that's open for you. And this is the second year in a row that DC has won. Do we see a dynasty coming?
Honestly, I'm going to let you coin that, but yes, I'm looking forward to that as well, right? DC just like, oh my goodness, I don't know if it's in the water or just the area, but the opportunity and just the women coming out of there are amazing. And even being on stage with all of the 50 contestants, I was just so thankful to be in the midst of such intelligent women.
And being Miss USA 2017, what are you looking forward to the most?
Opportunity to kind of just be touched by so many different people. I was a military child, so I had the opportunity to experience worldwide culture, and the biggest component of just like traveling so much was being able to interact with people from different cultures, and I'm just really hoping to be touched by so many people.
Well, I'll tell you what, we thank you for coming, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Make sure that you enjoy it. It's well deserved.
Thank you.
Miss USA 2017, everybody.
Welcome back. That was refreshing. It's newfound faith in the minority community that you can be anything you want to be. And she's a nuclear physicist. Alright? Now, that's not bad for having for a girlfriend. Plus, she's gorgeous on top of it. I don't get the left jumping all over her. You know what I mean? She made it in life. She got her opportunities. All right, these are the same opportunities you supposedly fight for, and evidently all you do now is just fight. You ain't fighting for shit. You're just fighting. But all right, that was one way of taking a positive story and turning it bad. And I don't know. Liberals just piss me off. I thought I'd do the positive before I did the absurd. And we got one guy that's pretty much absurd. And what was his name? Councilman Johnson. There he is. Alright. This guy is a moron. He's a councilman, I think, in West Manhattan. And he's in charge of Penn Station. But he's a social justice warrior. In other words, he's an idiot. But you gotta hear this to believe it.
Well, Corey Johnson is a city councilman in New York City. There's a lot going on there in New York City, but instead of dealing with those things, or maybe in addition to that, he's trying to intervene in national politics. He's written a bill that would force all city concession contractors to release their tax returns, but only if they have their personal name on their business. Almost looks like the bill is designed to force President Trump and only President Trump to release his tax returns due to his ownership of a Trump-branded golf course on city land. Councilman Johnson joins us tonight. Councilman Johnson, one of the basic tenets of our system is that government can't pass laws to affect individuals. They have to affect behavior. You can't just single out one person with a law. And yet that seems like exactly what you're doing.
Well, Tucker, first of all, thanks for having me on the show. I've admired you for years. I liked John Crossfire way back when. Miss Bob Novak. This bill is not just about President Trump. This bill would pertain to anyone in the future who goes for a city concession contract, who emblazons their name on the property and is making money off the city of New York. I sort of feel like this is not to minimize this important topic. I'm like a lowly little city council member on the west side of Manhattan, and I feel like there is much bigger news today, which you've been talking about during your show.
Well, you've got
the
bigger
tax
problems.
returns.
No, but I used to live in New York,
yes,
and that's why this story caught my attention. Now, you preside over a city that just decriminalized public urination, okay? And the effects are really obvious, at least where I was living in Midtown. There's a lot going on in Manhattan, not all of it good, and you're taking your time to basically grandstand on the national stage because you don't like Trump. Now, it's okay if you don't like Trump. I'm not mad about that. But how about filling some potholes and, arresting some public urinators?
Well,
Seriously.
Tucker, this is the first time I've heard a connection between public urination and President Trump's tax returns. First time I've ever heard it. This is really about getting some transparency and accountability. Do you think the president should release his tax returns?
I don't know. I'm not a city councilman in the city of New York.
You don't know.
I mean, what?
You are an opinionated, smart guy.
Maybe here, look, I'm not trying to pass a law designed to force him to release his tax returns. You are. And I'm merely saying, A, you ought to admit it's about Trump. It's not about any of your other concession holders in New York City. And B, is it right for government? Is it not an abuse of power for government to craft a law aimed at an individual? I mean, this is like a pretty basic principle of the British law that we inherited and that our system's based on.
What I find, first of all, if this did pass the council, which I hope it will, I'm sure our litigious president will litigate it. He hasn't really had much respect for the courts in the past, were jurists or judges, so who knows what he will say and what will be done. The thing I find more offensive here than a lowly city council member writing this legislation is the fact that he is not being held accountable. He is not being transparent. The revelations today about the conversation with Comey, Michael Flynn's connection to Russia, all of these things should want us to know what the president's connection is to Russia, if he has any business interests.
Hold on, wait a second. We have an entire Congress to deal with this. We have a whole media that hates Trump that can work on this.
You're supposed
to be. Yeah, I'm like one guy in a sea of people who wake up every morning seeking to get him impeached.
Who else on this channel hates Trump?
Look, I'm making a point. You have a very specific job, and it's to help run a city of 8 million people, some of them unruly. The city itself. Have you been to Penn Station recently?
It's in my district.
It's like a homeless shelter. It's disgusting.
It's in my district.
So why are you wasting? You give these speeches, and I just read one where you're like, Trump is bad. By the way, ignore the guy living, under the ATM machine. Or relieving himself next to. I'm serious. I go there every week. That's your Penn Station is yours, and you're worrying about Trump's tax returns. Are you joking? Have you been to the men's room there? I'm a dead serious question. Have you been to the men's room in Penn Station?
I unlike former Republicans,
it's right next to Don Pepe's Pizza. I'm asking you a serious question. It's your job.
Unlike former Republican Senator Larry Craig, I avoid men's rooms. For me, I am focused on all the issues that affect my district.
Look, some people
You're the one that brought up men's rooms, not me. I'm here to talk about Trump's tax returns.
People use the men's rooms in the train station, and yours are disgusting.
Trump's
and
tax
now you're
returns.
Complaining about his tax returns? Are you kidding?
Just one last thing. I know we have to go. We need an independent prosecutor.
Okay,
That's
but
what
first we need cleans men's rooms at Penn Station, and you're the guy in charge of that. Call your congressman for the independent counsel. Why don't you get on those bathrooms?
We need an independent counsel to look into what's going on.
Yeah, well, that's not going to make it okay for my kids to use the bathroom.
The Republicans are trying to destroy the social safety.
All right. Corey, we're out of time. Thanks. I'm sorry. Congressman, the bathrooms are horrible there, by the way.
He is an idiot. What's Trump's taxes got to do with the city council of West Manhattan? West, upper side, whatever it is. The west side. All right. I'm lost for words. So we're gonna play a song. Welcome back. All right, our next segment, we got another Tucker Carlson one. This Steve Cohen. I forget who he was, but anyways, he's talking about how it's a national security problem, the way the Democrats are screaming impeachment, Russia probe, there's nothing there. Telling Comey to stop the investigation, and there's nothing there. But, all right, worth listening to.
Now, nobody is arguing here, even the Trump administration, that Russia is a close ally of ours or that the Putin government is rooting for America's success. They're probably not. But when a country goes from being an afterthought, as Russia was just recently, to the target of war drums, as it is now, and it all changes in a single election cycle, as it has, it's fair to ask what exactly is going on here. Almost certainly more than meets the eye, probably a lot more. And if you live in Washington, you know for a fact there's a lot happening behind the scenes. The press ought to be asking questions about this. But they haven't. Instead, they've attacked anyone who does. Well, not on this show. With those questions hanging in the air, we're joined now by one of the very few people in the country who might credibly answer them. He is Stephen Cohen, and for decades he taught and researched Russian politics at Princeton and NYU, and he joins us tonight. Professor Cohen, thanks a lot for coming on. So to start with the first of these two stories, the president is accused of passing critical intelligence to the Russians in a meeting at the White House. Do you believe that happened?
No, and nor have I, in these decades you mentioned, ever heard an elected member of Congress say that we should have no relations with the Russians at all. Presumably that would include nuclear weapons control. When I see, I guess it was a Democrat, it's on the bottom of your screen, asking what are the Russians doing in the White House anyway? Well, they're doing with President Trump the national security of our nation, because what's at stake here is a proposal by Putin of Russia, by Trump of America, to join hands in an alliance against international terrorism.
Right.
And I would have asked you, if you had asked me a few days ago, what's the number one threat to the United States today? I would have said international terrorism. I don't know if you agree, Tucker, but it's certainly up there. Today, I would say it's this assault on President Trump because it's been going on a year. And can we be clear? What he's being accused of is treason. This has never happened in America, that there's a Russian agent in the White House. And we've had a whole array of allegations, from Putin helped him get in the White House to his associates are doing wrong things with Russians, that Flynn did something wrong in talking, his former national security advisor did something wrong with talking to the Russian ambassador. There's no evidence that there was any wrongdoing, and indeed Flynn should have talked to the Russian ambassador. That was his job. So this is beyond belief now, and has become, by this I mean this assault on Trump and his loyalty, this has become a national security threat to us in itself.
So is the heart of this change, so as I noted a minute ago, Russia went from being, pretty much an afterthought to most people, to being at the very center of this very complex conspiracy theory. Is that all about trying to get Trump out of office, do you think, or are there other motives?
Well, I think two motives have driven this, I think, false narrative against Trump that he's somehow a Kremlin agent. Been two forces. One is the Clinton wing of the Democratic Party, which doesn't want to admit she lost the election, wants to say, Clinton won, but Putin stole it from me. And that may be because she wants to run again. I think that's a possibility. At the same time, there has long been in Washington a powerful, let's call it the fourth branch of government, the intelligence services, who have opposed any rapprochement or cooperation with Russia. Remember, in 2016, President Obama worked out a deal with Russian President Putin for military cooperation in Syria. He said he was going to share intelligence with Russia, just the way Trump and the Russians were supposed to do the other day. Right. Our Department of Defense said it wouldn't share intelligence. And a few days later, they killed Syrian soldiers, violating the agreement, and that was into that. So we can ask, who is making our foreign policy in Washington today?
Well, who is making our foreign? I mean, the president is elected in part to do that. He ran explicitly on a closer relationship with Russia. Not everyone is for that.
That's right.
But he won the election by saying out loud, we have a common enemy in Islamic terror. And so isn't it constitutionally the president's role to determine our posture toward the rest of the world? Isn't that the whole point of electing a president?
Yeah, and so you and I have to ask a subversive question. Are there really three branches of government, or is there a fourth branch of government? These intel services. What we know as a fact is that Obama tried, not very hard, but he tried, for a military alliance with Putin in Syria against terrorism, and it was sabotaged by the Department of Defense and its allies in the intelligence services. Trump says, he said on the campaign trail, wouldn't it be great to cooperate with Russia? My answer is, it would be great, and Trump seems to want that to happen, but he's being thwarted. Every time he gets close, we get a new leak of a story.
If what you're saying is true, and that his attempt to change the course of American foreign policy was sabotaged by a government agency without his permission, I mean, that is totally outside the bounds of constitutional government. I hope you're wrong. I suspect you're not. Professor Cohen, thanks for joining us.
That's probably why the flame was up there.
Welcome back to Pot Talk.
Welcome back, guys.
You got Nick, Kitty, and Tyler.
The Wigger.
The Wigger, yeah, that's what it is.
That's what I'm known as on this show.
Alright, what do you want to talk about?
Anything, dude. What do you want to talk about? Except
we could talk about you. We're smoking a cone.
It's
joint.
hash oil on the inside, and it's rolled in keef.
It's $30 for the joint.
Yeah. It's,
and you're holding it by the
filter. The one that
filter.
we're smoking is... Where is it? 0.84% CDB, and I can't even get to the yellow. So I don't fucking know how many percent THC in that shit.
He's too stoned, he can't read.
I don't would have been too much to drink, Jim. Got home not even an hour ago. I thought it would take me long to catch up. A few shots, a few beers.
CBD 0.84. THC is 33.6.
Not bad, not bad. So when's Paul coming home? Tomorrow. I heard, right?
Yeah. Maybe we'll get a show in the can.
Are we smoking all in the pre-rollies?
You just came out of the woodwork.
Yo, Danny, let's talk about something on the radio show.
You're on the live on air.
I'm live on air. What's going on? I'm pretty fucking hammered right now, but
We're just ready to say congratulations for Tyler for getting off probation.
Oh, yes!
And I'm having a baby.
Oh, and you're having a baby.
Dude, it's been so
2
long.
weeks. So
Yeah.
this
If she doesn't go to
Dude, I was on for like 3.5 years. Dude,
all the
don't
keep,
fucking
what, you
feel like
scrape
it.
all the keep off.
Like, I don't
the
even...
No, it's on there.
Dude, the only thing that's gonna change is that I don't gotta check in and I don't gotta go to fucking therapy, you know?
Yeah.
Fucking risk my acidus. He did tell you fucking what happened to me. Somebody was following me after I fucking bought this shit. I grabbed the fucking 2 ounces and 2 of those joints, and right after I fucking left out the parking lot. And I'm at my cousin's mom's house, and I left out the parking lot.
I was telling
I went
Josh
across the street, bro, and his pickup truck was coming down the road. Yeah, and it like kind of like stopped because my cousin was sitting in the truck, and he had the fucking the lights on, like it looked like he was gonna back up.
Dude, I've been telling people all day at work, yo, stay out of line.
Right,
That's
like,
sketchy.
yeah, it looked like he was gonna back up, so the truck started going slow, and I like crossed the street, and then I figured once I crossed the street, he was gonna speed up and go by me. Right? But I'm walking, and like right when I hit the sidewalk, like all of a sudden it's like, well, the truck is close to a stop sign. And it's like, dude, I'm like walking, and this nigga's just creeping. Like, it's just going and going, and I'm like looking, I'm like, yo, what is this? The boys like, is this shit gonna light up fucking in a second now? Like what does he think? Like,
Dude, that's what I was sketching about the whole way around.
I was like, what does he think? I'm a fucking like a gang member or something? Like, is this a gang area or some shit? Like, I don't even know. Like, dude was just going mad slow, like following.
You You remember the time John pulled up next to the police station a few months ago? I was drinking that beer in his car.
Yeah.
And he pulled up next to the police station where the trash can was to throw the beer out.
No,
I was like, dude, after that I was sketching.
Dude, I was sketching that hard. That's right. I mean,
and then he pulls into the gas station for me to throw my beer out. So I didn't want to keep an empty beer bottle in the fucking car, you know, and I also didn't want to throw it out the window. It's going to pop someone's tires, you know?
But that's why I'd rather go to Lowell. I mean, it might take a little longer, but I feel like...
Dude, I feel safer in Lowell, yes.
Yeah, at least I can go to the house, you know, we can park on a fucking, like a regular
You
street.
feel safer in Lowell?
Yes.
Do you not know what's going on in Lawrence right now?
Because of the area. The area
got
that
FBI
I have to
in Lawrence right
the area that
And you think Lowell is so much better?
No, it's not that it's so much better. It's just the area that you have to go. I don't have to go all the way into fucking Lowell. Like, it's right there. Right after you get off of 110, you fucking take a right turn, and his house is fucking right there. And then went back in and out. We don't have to go
right by the
navigate
7-Eleven
through the city and shit. You don't have to go deep
You see,
down.
that's where you
take the
guys go
fucking
wrong.
turns.
Because I live in Tewksbury, Mass, okay? You know how many times these cops, these detectives undercover have pulled off the simply, yeah, you just get off on that exit. Yeah, it's simple. It's right there. Nothing happens. And every time they do that, you get caught. You know why? Because you guys stick out like a sore fucking thumb.
Yeah, no, we don't go the same way.
Who, for example, like I said, I live in Tewksbury, Mass. There was a Motel 6 and there's an IHOP.
We'll just go to...
Right off the highway.
Right. 38.
What do?
Serving
Get off right on that 38. Oh, they're not gonna...
Yeah, Jim's from Lowell.
They're not gonna... You know, they just caught 136 Xanax bars this guy was holding. Because why? It was right off the highway. You could do it right there real quick and jump right back on that highway. That's where people go wrong.
I wouldn't say it's right there. I'm going to...
That's better.
I think in 2 weeks I'm going to go...
It's like I'm not hopping out like in a random parking lot. Like I'm going to my actual family's house. Like he's my actual cousin and I'm going to his house to fucking, you know, see him and then... Yeah, having their fucking bags and shit fucking leave. I'll see there's stuff in my fucking...
You know what though? I think nowadays that doesn't mean that.
Exactly. Like, you know,
I feel that.
if you did get pulled over.
Yeah, like...
Alright, folks, we're gonna go to a commercial.
It was sketchy that, dude, when we picked...
Are you hangry? Know the signs. Uncontrollable yelling.
Why aren't you egg rolls?
Hallucination.
Sushi.
Pants discomfort.
I hate you, pants.
Hangry. It can happen to anyone. Fortunately, there's E24, the app that tells hunger to shut up.
Egg rolls. Thanks, Snoop.
E24. In my medical opinion, it's the best way to order food online, baby.
Tune in to Dad Max with TC and Lydia. I am TC Elliott.
And I'm Lydia.
And we are the hosts of the first ever Father-Daughter podcast. Live every Monday right here on Armed Radio. Dad Max with TC and Lydia. This Monday, live and only on Armed Radio. Tune in to Dad Max with TC and Lydia. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Armed Radio. The English Tea Room in downtown Covington presents How to Take Your Tea the English Way, Part 1, The Dark Ages.
Tea.
Who are you?
We are the knights who say tea.
No, not the knights who say tea.
The same. The knights who say tea demand a sacrifice.
Knights of Tea. We are but simple North Shore dwellers who seek the finest restaurants in Covington.
Tea.
Oh, ow, oh.
We shall say tea again to you if you do not appease us.
Well, what is it that you want?
We want a Zagat-rated lunch and breakfast.
A what?
Someplace that looks nice.
Of course.
And not too expensive.
Yes. And so they went to the English Tea Room and Eatery in downtown Covington, 734 East Rutland Street. For more information, visit EnglishTeaRoom.com.
or call the English Tea Room today at 985-898-3988. The English Tea Room and Eatery, the holy grail of restaurants on the North Shore.
Hey everyone, I want to tell you all about an amazing salon. Joyce's, located at 132 Ferry Street in Everett, Massachusetts. Joyce's specializes in the latest techniques in coloring, styling, cutting, and beach waves. Joyce's features Sukesha all-natural nutrient products and organic color. Joyce's full-service spa and salon, located at 132 Ferry Street, Everett, Massachusetts. 617-387-6688. Specializing in you.
Hey there, all you creepy people. This is Kevin Wayne from Portland, Oregon. You're listening to Armed Radio, home of the big guns.
Hey Dan, how's the day going so far?
My day couldn't be better. You pull up less than 3 minutes after I open my Lyft app, and how do you greet me? With a kind hello? Just delightful.
Great. Care for a cookie?
A cookie? A chocolate chip cookie? You know, I'd love one.
Sure.
Hey, let me ask you something. How did you know I love this song?
I mean, come on, it's the Cold War kids. Everybody loves them.
Whoa! Who taught this guy how to merge? That was a fantastic merge!
Couldn't agree more.
That's it? That's all this costs? What's this thing running on? Smiles and high fives? You son of a Mike, I love you!
Thanks. Have a great day.
Lyft. Driving you happy. Just download and go.
This is 30.
Welcome back to Pot Talk.
Oh, Pot Talk.
Breaking news now, the Georgia strike has been activated. Newt Gingrich just told Trump how to obliterate the media for good.
Alright guys, got anything good to talk about?
Media that continues to levy false charges against the Trump administration. Fake news at its worst. Danny Gold, Liberty Writers, has reported Donald Trump has a lot of enemies since the beginning. But the worst and most nasty is definitely the establishment liberal media.
Fucking police
presence
in Salem, fucking
all
going
kinds of
around.
terrible falsehoods about the president.
In Salem?
In Salem, what happened
Now,
is
Newt Gingrich
something me
figured
and
out how to put a stop to it once
which
and
was like
for
probably
all.
2 months ago.
He told
we were
President that it is
here
now
at the house.
time
Somebody came by.
to close down
and
the press briefing
They
room.
dropped something off and then
You know what?
you
I
know
am not
put it in the
against
house,
that.
whatever.
I am
And
not
then
against it.
they left to go to a
Maybe-
restaurant to pick
maybe
up
just
food,
yank
and not
the
like
press
10 minutes
for those
down the
fake
road,
news outlets. The ones
we're
that
getting
continue
pulled
to push
over
the false narrative.
by a fucking pickup
And
truck. It was a
against
silver Honda
the
Pilot.
real media.
It had
The
lights
alternative,
and everything flashing
the true media,
behind us. This was
the
before
new
we got the new cards. This is when we had the sign
the
on.
Patriot media.
You know, it was a little
and
bit
us
beat out.
in the
You
front.
know, it looked like a raggedy car, but it was a decent car. She paid like $12,000 for it.
Control of the
So
narrative.
we're just driving along, going to pick
Because
up our
right now,
food, and
these people are ganging
plates
up,
come on. So we
ganging up
pull
on
over to
Trump
the side of the
in
road,
the press room.
and
they're
these
putting out these
two
false stories.
plainclothes
And that is,
detectives
then that
with,
gets,
you know,
put
I
out
think
to the American
one of them
people
was with
through
New
social
Hampshire
media.
State Police, and one of them was just regular
allows
Salem PD.
those
But they were
outlets
plain clothes, had badges in their
put
shirts, and they
ads.
came over,
When they're
and they said,
pushing
"Oh, the reason we stopped you is because the driver, my wife,
by restricting
caught
them
said that her
from the press
eyes
room.
looked a little
Just giving them
glassy,
press
like she
statements.
was high
Giving
on
press
opiates."
But just kick them out. Yank their
So, and they couldn't
That's
see my
what
eyes
needs to
because
happen.
I had sunglasses on, but they told me to take my
Now,
glasses off once they pulled me out of the car.
You know,
And they were like,
shutting down the
"Yeah,
press
eyes look a
briefing
little glazed over
a long
too.
time ago may
You've been
have
doing
been
it." And I was like, honestly, I smoked the joint before I left the house.
Okay, the
That's
free
why I
press
was high,
will
but I was like, I don't have
continue. And it's
anything
a
on me. There's
valuable,
nothing in the
valuable
car.
asset in this
But you
country.
can search
However,
me. And they had
fake
pulled my
street
wife
media
out before they made her cry,
no
like they
longer
like threatened
free
her.
press right now.
saying that they were going to arrest her and saying that they're going to tear the car apart if they find anything. She's going to jail. It was all fucking bullshit because there wasn't nothing in the car. The registration wasn't even there. We were waiting for the car to get recalled
against Donald Trump.
Engineering
and manufacturing
so
lies.
We're just going, and then the car brings her back to the car and then pulls me out. He's talking to me. He's like, oh yeah, you know, tells me I'm fucking high. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And he's like, oh, so you don't have anything on you? I was like, no, you can search me. He didn't search me himself. That was his mistake because unbeknownst to me, I had a small bag of weed on my inside pocket because I wear pants. But on the inside of my pants, I also wear basketball shorts. And then my underwear. So I have an extra pocket. So I had put the weed inside of my basketball shorts pocket and put my pants over that because I was smoking outside before we left. And I forgot that I had it on me. And so he's like, oh, pull out your pockets. You know, I'm patting myself down, trying to show him. Emptied out my sweater pocket. I pulled out my pants pockets, put everything out, my phone, and everything, pack of cigarettes, maybe a lighter, and some cash. And I was like, see? And he was like, alright. He was like, you sure there's nothing in that car? Because he's like, if there is, you better tell me now because I'm going to tear it apart. And I was like, I swear to God, officer, there's nothing in that car. I was like, please, by all means, go ahead and search it. You know, and after all that, they didn't even search the car. They put us back in the car, went back to their car for a few minutes, came over, and gave us, I don't know what it was. It was maybe a ticket of some sort, but they did all that because we had a tail light out. That was their excuse at the end. They were like, oh, you have a tail light, by the way, after they didn't find anything and after they left. After they didn't even search the car. So that's what I think is fucked up. You know, they just outright accuse you of shit, don't even look for nothing, and then, oh, have a nice day, you have a tail light out. Like, what kind of shit is that?
It's a power trip.
Exactly. Like, what kind of shit is that? And, like, you want to talk about a power trip. You know John. I was with him. He was driving his antique Fiero Pontiac. And a cop saw that his expiration sticker seemed to be out of date. But apparently this cop didn't even know the law on antique cars in New Hampshire that an expiration sticker is good for 2 years. And they ended up calling 2 other cruisers to the scene. There was 6 cops there for a fucking a traffic violation supposedly. And they ended up giving him a ticket. And he ended up going and looking up the New Hampshire law, printing it out, and bringing it down to the police station, to the fucking captain himself. Man, he told him, like, look, I want this ticket fucking taken out. I don't know why. 6 cops showed up because I was just pulling out of my house and I had a fucking supposedly expired sticker that's good for 2 years. The first year was up and it was going on its second year. And you needed 6 cops to verify that, and you still couldn't figure it out. The law on antique vehicles in your own state, and you're supposedly the police. And you give a man a $150 ticket, but luckily John was fucking smart enough to fight it and be like, look, here it is, there it is, and they dropped it, they ripped up the ticket. But it's like a bunch of bullshit. Like, how are they just gonna harass you and just cause such like a use of force over such little things, and nothing is ever found and nothing is ever done? So I don't know. They threaten you. Oh, just like in Lawrence now, they brought off all the murders. They're bringing in the FBI, the DEA, but I probably gotta go if Lawrence is calling me. Yep. All right.
All right, Danny. Good night.
I'll probably be back.
You guys take care. So I'll see you next. All right, folks. I got another clip for you. Here you go.
Breaking news now, the counter-strike has been activated. Newt Gingrich just told Trump how to obliterate the media for good. That is, of course, the establishment left-wing media that continues to levy false charges against the Trump administration. Fake news at its worst. Danny Gold, Liberty Writers, is reporting Donald Trump has a lot of enemies since the beginning. But the worst and most nasty is definitely the establishment liberal media. They have spread lies and hate and all kinds of terrible falsehoods about the president since day one. Now, Newt Gingrich figured out how to put a stop to it once and for all. He told President that it is now time to close down the press briefing room. You know what? I am not against that idea. I am not against it. Maybe just yank the press credentials for those fake news outlets, the ones that are continuing to push the false narratives, and get the real media, the alternative media, the true media, the new media, okay, the patriot media, get us in the front row, okay? That so we can take back control of the narratives. Because right now, these people are ganging up on Trump in the press rooms, and they're putting out these false stories, and then that gets put out to the American people through social media, and of course Zuckerberg allows those outlets to get a free pass when they're pushing absolute lies. So by restricting them from the press room, just giving them press statements, you can give them press statements, but just kick them out. Yank their credentials. That's what needs to happen. Okay? Now, shutting down the press briefing room a long time ago may have been considered a terrible idea, but today, it's not. Okay? The free press will continue, and it's a valuable, valuable asset in this country. However, the fake stream media is no longer the free press right now. They are operating as an arm of the Democrat Party, politicizing fake information and weaponizing it against Donald Trump, engineering and manufacturing lies. Now, Gingrich told Politico, quote, "I am personally offended by the American news media. I think it is destructive and disgusting. It is a danger to the country right now." And he's definitely right about that. Now, like I said, kick those old media channels out and invite in different news sources entirely. Okay? Not just conservative, but not those scumbags from the fake stream press that are in there right now. Okay? So the real lesson here is the mainstream press needs to take responsibility. They currently do not. They disseminate their own narrative with vigor and then shun anything that disproves it. So, get this out there. I think so. I mean, at a minimum, yank the credentials. If you have to go to that level of extreme, shut down the whole frickin' press office. Shut it down. Shut it down completely. So, what are your thoughts about Gingrich with this call to action to shut it down? Comment below. Subscribe for updates. If you agree, blast this on your social networks. For the next news.
Welcome back. And, I mean, the guy's right. Get rid of the fake press, and you won't have all this problem. You know what I mean? They'll have to be left at second hand. Which basically means they can write anything they want, because they can always quote somebody anonymous without the memo or anything else in front of them. It's just retarded. It's the press going after Trump, and they're using these shoddy sources. Folks, stand strong. Trump will prevail. They can do all the searching they want. There's nothing there. Yeah, Flynn fucked up. He's an idiot, but that's why he got fired. Doesn't mean the White House should have to get fired. It's dumb. Alright. Anyways, we're going to leave a little early tonight. You folks have a good time. We'll catch you next week. Good night.
I was young, I was blue, I was was angry, I was proud, I was charmed.